Hey guys, welcome to secretnftgroup.com, and in this video we're going to talk to you a little bit about the different Solana art user bases, or should I say marketplaces, that are literally been growing up. Now in other videos I talked a lot about Solana art, so this is going to be like Solana art versus Magic Eden, and I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the big huge company that just added Solana, which is OpenSeas, okay? But not so much. I'm going to be mainly focusing on these two categories. There's been a huge push for Solana type Solana tokens as far as the NFT industry goes. Solana's been a huge player in the NFT space now for the last year, and is really coming up. In fact, big projects are already starting to come out of this. We're talking about projects that were started or were partnered with the likes of Snoop Dogg, and you'd seen some of Snoop Dogg's Solana art pieces. Obviously, he's also doing a lot with Ethereum, but he's dabbling in both, doing big things in both arenas. The other person I would like to mention is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille has got a crazy one, which I could show you real quickly. Shaquille changed the name of his Twitter account. It's called Shaq, or Shaq.Sol. I believe that's also his address, so he owns the address for that. If you go to his site, he has a link tree. When you open up his link tree, it goes to obviously all the things that he does, but on the very bottom, he's got the Astrals NFT. And the Astrals NFT, you can also see he is the main guy for the founders. He's literally right at the very beginning there, and then the rest of the team is building that project out. And on top of that, you've also seen Michael Jordan come out with some NFTs that were Bulls related. I don't have them on the image here, but they were Bulls related. It's pretty cool. But I'd go back to Shaq. His project is doing really well. It's definitely holding up at 11 plus SOL each. So they're well over $1,100-$1,200 a pop. Just depends on the price of SOL when you decide to get one, if you ever bought one of these. But really what I want to do is I'm going to boil down in today's video exactly what's going on with Magic Eden. And then because this is actually a training video, I'm going to also show you the new user interface that both Magic Eden and also Solana Art has created. You could just see, and I'll give you a lot of my thought process of what's going on, but I just say that Magic Eden, like I've said in past videos, is that they were going to give Solana Art a run for their money, and now they are literally the king. So I'll give that to them, that Magic Eden is now the king, and it's really because they've been innovative, their marketing has been on point, and they've just continued to exceed and prevail and get better at what they're doing. Of course, there's some things that I like that they're doing, and there's some things that I'm not a huge fan of, or it's just something that I think they need to come out with, but we'll talk about that a little bit further. So let's go ahead and get started. If you do like the content, make sure you hit the like or subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Comment below if you're enjoying this information. Tag some of your friends or send this out on social media. Help us grow, help us get the word out. It's secretnftgroup.com, where you can find all of my free training all in one place, including a Discord channel where you can also see some of our alpha that comes out, as well as what other OGs are actually teaching at the time as well. I also want to mention that I am not a financial advisor. You should do your own research. Make sure that if you invest anything or if you spend any money on any NFTs, that it wasn't because I told you, it's because you can afford to lose the money, because it is like going down to the casino and throwing it all on red. Okay, now there has been a lot of people making a lot of money in this industry, and I've also been super fascinated with it, and that's why I've continued to get into it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so what I want to do is first pull up a screen here. This is on dappradar.com. This is a really cool app that has a lot of great information about many different tokens, but mainly the top ones that are in the NFT space right now. I've always taught Solana. I've always liked Solana. It's a proof of stake token, meaning that it's about nodes that get together versus proof of work, where it's actually servers that are popping together and creating or like popping out crunching numbers to mine the Bitcoin or Ethereum. Ethereum's making a change to proof of stake, but Solana is already a proof of stake network. It's also showing that it does get affected by the size of the network, because it's been definitely getting hit the last few days, where it's taken transactions a little bit slower to actually go through. I think this has been a massive and great test to the actual token and to the network it's built on. It's only going to continue to get better and to grow, I think, at this point. Ethereum could totally just poop the bed at this point. You know, and they're saying in January that their proof of stake is going to go into effect. They're calling it version 2.0, but really it's version 3.0 if you know what Ethereum Classic is. That was the first Ethereum, but it's supposed to go to proof of stake. It could just do everything like it was supposed to. It's a year late from when they first said that they were going to push this. Hopefully they're ready. A lot of people, a lot of industry leaders are saying that they are ready. That's yet to be seen. So they could literally poop the bed. And if they do, then I think I'm going to start getting even more bullish on Solana. I'm super bullish on it anyway, just because I've watched it grow. And of course, the market has pulled back since it's been its all-time high. I think around $240 or something like that, right around there, maybe $250. I'm super bullish for it because it's got, you know, it's on OpenSeas now. It's in beta, but they literally released it. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of bridges between Ethereum and Solana versus some of the ways I've shown you guys in some of the older videos, where if you want to swap out between ETH and Solana, you could go and, like, the easiest way was to sell it back into a marketplace, sell it, flip it there, and then bring it back over. Of course, there's fees associated with that, but I think we're going to start seeing more cost-effective ways for swapping the two, which will be great. I also want to mention that recently, not too long ago, you can go to Twitter and look at MetaMask, and they changed the image. I'll put it right here, but they changed the image, their Twitter account, which is now kind of looking like the Solana colors, which is an interesting hint. I'm thinking Solana's coming to MetaMask. It's going to be huge. The adoption is going to be huge for Solana. And of course, it's going to affect the network, but I think it's going to be a good test. Like I've been saying, it's going to be a great test for it. And then that test is going to continue to be built upon to make it just one of the greatest tokens out there besides Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum is the king. And if they do what they say they're going to do, I think it'll be huge for Ethereum. I don't think Solana's going to go anywhere because they were already kind of there. But let's go ahead and get into the two Solana major marketplaces right now. Now, of course, OpenSea could take these things over because of the sheer numbers of holders that are there. But let's just look at what we're looking at right now. So recently, within like a month and a half, 2 months from when this was recorded, Magic Eden just really popped in here and said, you know what, Solana, this is my business now, sucka. And they came in, they literally did it, right? So let's look at this number. So right now, they've got over double the amount of traders, the holders, the people who are trading on there. You can see Solana, our average price is quite a bit higher if you look at overall numbers, but we're going to break this down in the last 30 days as well. And I think that's where we're going to be key, because it literally was the last 2 months that they flipped Solana art. So you can see that. Here's the numbers though. Look, Solana art has done 636.99 million in volume versus 736 million in volume between Magic Eden. But if I shrink this down a little bit here and I go to a 30-day benchmark here, you could see, look at these numbers though. It's so clear, right? Magic Eden, 41.05 million in the last 30 days versus Solana art, 4.39 million. It's kind of like they just took all of Solana arts and then continued to build because they were pushing and doing so much marketing. I also really liked the ways that they were working with the actual projects themselves, which I'll get into here when we're looking at it. But they actually had their own launch pad, which was a huge thing, I think, because it was like a better way to support some of these projects who didn't know where to find the tech or anything like that. They could just partner with Magic Eden. Magic Eden made it very simple, especially for a lot of these early projects. I'm sure that's going to continue to get harder as time goes on and as they continue to grow. They just did an amazing job with that, I think, which allowed them to actually host more and more projects than Solana art was able. And again, that kind of creates like this network effect. And so all these little networks would continue to build. So as these little projects would build huge networks and spend a lot of money on advertising, it would just bring those people directly to Magic Eden, because a lot of these projects, Solana art was just saying, we're not going to cover you, or we're not going to list you on our platform. Solana art has always been notorious for being a little bit harder to get into, a little bit more picky, which was kind of in the past. My views totally changed from my older videos, but in the past, I always felt like, look, if a new project came on, and Solana art got it, then it was like more highly likely to double or triple in price than if it just went to Magic Eden. But my thought on this process on this has completely changed since then. And that's just a thing about NFTs and the thing about crypto is that things change and you need to keep your finger on that pulse, okay? And then you got some of the other ones, you know, SolC is just, you know, they don't even compare. They're dying. You know, as far as like you look at business, it doesn't mean that they're dead, doesn't mean they're out of it, but Magic Eyes is another one. I mean, just not enough volume to really even stick anything on these marketplaces. You know, I'd rather stick something on Magic Eden or Solanart even. But I will show you this. Look at the average price for each of these. So the average price, 234 versus 205. So now more people are spending more money on Magic Eden than what they're spending on Solanart. It's not much, but it definitely shows you what it looks like. Now I could go to 7 days just to look at that real quickly. Big numbers. You can see somehow more people in the last 7 days are spending on average $479 versus $420. We can look at the last 24 hours. Magic Eden's kind of beating that, but you can see that the trading numbers have continued to grow. They're just showing their growth, and then also their sheer size of number of volume is going to be bigger. So there's a few things that I want to do before I get into each of these, and that is going to be just talking to you a little bit about why I think some of this has happened, okay? So one of the things I already mentioned earlier was that Magic Eden has created their own launchpad. Launchpad is pretty big deal. Of course, Solanart's now got a launchpad. They're definitely not going down without a fight, but that was a big play as well. The other thing is that Magic Eden just worked better with projects. Not only did they help them get off the ground, but they also helped them with marketing efforts. They supported them. They had easy to get a hold of people there, I believe. If you went to an event and you said, hey, I was a Solana thing, they actually tried to find out ways to kind of partner with them at the events. I've just seen how they've grown. It's just smarter plays for them. Solanart just kind of didn't do a lot of changing for a while, but I think that because of Magic Eden's pressure, which competition is good for any business, it's definitely going to make it a better user experience for the end user. And so they are still very competitive in those senses. Those are kind of the main reasons why I think Magic Eden's just grown so much faster. You know, Magic Eden wasn't as picky. Solanart was. Magic Eden just supported more of the projects. You know, Solanart did, but I don't think they did it in the way that Magic Eden did. They were just much more aggressive in their marketing. So let's go ahead and look at each of these. And also I want to show you how to use them, okay? So let's first look at Magic Eden. And of course, you know, Astrals is here. I'm just kind of showing that. Let's just go to the actual first page. Yesterday, they didn't show this today. They changed the meme here. But they said, they had actually a meme that said, the Magic Eden, the place where ETH Degans or Maxis, ETH Maxis and Solana Maxis can hang out. And it's the meme where the two little kids come and hug each other. It's a beautiful, really great meme. So, but it was funny because they put the two kids together and they're hugging. And so that made me think that Magic Eden might be actually coming out with Ethereum-based NFTs, which actually might be very smart for them. But, you know, again, it might have been just a little raspberry or Easter egg or something like that, right? So the other thing they do here is they actually show you the launches that they're dropping right now. These are the ones that are using their launch pad. They're kind of showing you what's coming up next. This here was some other ones that have come out as well. You can kind of scroll through them here and see what they're all about. You know, this was a gaming one. You can see they got on the side too there. They have some gaming stuff, but this is one that just launched a season 2. And I'm just going to show you kind of quickly how this whole part works once it loads up. Part of the reason why it's taking a while to load up is because Solana is definitely getting hit pretty hard. In fact, they show you right here on the very top, TPS. I think that has something to do with transactions per second. And it's just showing that it's slowing down quite a bit. So they're just saying that, you know, be patient. If you purchase something, it will take a little bit longer than usual. And I think that will continue to, you know, get better, obviously, as it continues to grow. So this was season 2, the one that they just launched. And it's right around their floor price is right around what they were minting at. It's actually the same price, but, you know, these are probably not as rare as the other ones. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it too much, but this is a gaming one. So it's one that's definitely been on my radar. But really, I just want to show you. So on the top right, you can see website, Twitter, Discord. You can flag it if you think there's something wrong with the collection. You can hit this little button here, which will add it to your watch list. I'm going to go ahead and shut that for now. But that'll add it to your watch list. You'll sign on your wallet that you want to add it to your watch list. So it kind of, adds that internally. Here, they're kind of working like a SaaS company, which is kind of cool. Everything on the left. But you can see collections. Let me go back to home real quick. And I'm also going to show you kind of the back end as well. So these are all popular collections. So they're showing you the top collections like D-Gods. This one is just, it's crazy how this one's done. But anyway, you can kind of see all of these different ones. This one's kind of like Azuki, which is huge on Ethereum, but it's kind of a copycat in that sense, even though it's not a derivative. It's actually its own artist. It's pretty cool stuff. That's there. And then you can see like these upcoming launches coming up here. Then you can see the actions or auctions that are happening. They have live auctions. You can see the top market cap projects. These are the ones that have sold the most on here. OG, so these are the old school ones, the original gangster ones. You could also see the Magic DAO. They have their own DAO you could be a part of if you want. And you can see what they voted for and so on and so forth. This is self-explanatory. On the left-hand side, you can go through collections. So collections is just going to go through popular collections. You can look at the last 24 hours, see if something is up and coming. You could look at the last 30 days, what's, really, been pumping in the last 30 days. You could look at what's new, like what's just kind of hit the marketplace, and you can see how well they're doing. And then you can go and check out their DAO. So here you can learn more about that. I thought this was just, again, it was a marketing thing to me, but it was really smart. They allow you to buy these tickets. I think this is this will be the marketplace for the Magic tickets. This basically just makes you a DAO member, allows you to make like decisions and whatever. Let me just sign in real quick. So this is just their ticket, and basically you can purchase these. They're not that expensive really, but they have different rarity ones. That's kind of how that works. On the left-hand side is where you can kind of find information on all the items. You can filter by price and attributes. They have levels, like I said. So if you wanted to look at the highest level, you could see these like more purple, neon purple kind of ones. And if you wanted to buy one of those, of course, they have different perks. I'm not really going into the NFT itself. I just want to show you how you can filter through the attributes, as well as they also had tiers. Now, of course, attributes can be a lot of different things. It could be colors, heads, the shirts they're wearing, the backgrounds. Like, it's totally listed based off of all of those different tiers and different levels of attributes that you would search for. Here's their launch pad. You can see what is up and coming on their launch pad. They usually will feature someone here, so it just depends, I think, on how busy they are. But you can see what's featured. You can see what's upcoming. You can see what literally just ended, and you can kind of see what is going on here as well. Then you can also look at the gaming specifically inside of Magic Eden as far as what's coming out. So this game, this Mini Royales Nationals game, I think is pretty hot. Again, I'm not just do your own research, but it's a cool one, and it's not that expensive right now. It's one that technically could pop at some point. There's all these other ones that they have going on as well. Again, as Solana NFTs continue to grow and get better, I think that there's a lot of opportunity here. Again, though, do your own research. Then they have one that they're kind of promoting because they stuck it literally here. Some sort of access pass that you can buy. Pool floor is 100 SOL. They're saying is guaranteed. 50% of mint, 100% of royalties. I guess they have brackets. I don't know that much about this one. They have a prize pool here. Don't know too much about that. Next thing is auctions. So let that load up. They've got basically auctions going on here. So Golden Eagle is one that they're auctioning off right now. They got future ones that they're going to be auctioning off that you can check out. Just another way to sell more of these. Also, if you're a project, this is a great way to raise money for your project before you go live. And so you could actually, raise potentially a decent amount of money if you created a bunch of one-on-one assets that would go to like a future larger collection. It's also another way to raise money for projects that have already launched and also want to create more buzz and exposure to them. So kind of cool. They have a drop calendar. I mean, again, another great way to support these up-and-coming projects that are coming out. They've got intros into Solana NFTs. They have stats. So let's look at stats real quickly. Okay, so they have stats here. You can look at based off volume. This is basically the last 24 hours, what has been really selling. Average price, we can look at that. You can do average price here. But there's so many collections inside of Solana Art, which is crazy, right? They also do this. I think this is just a little rub in the face to Solana Art, but they're basically showing their last 24-hour transaction volume and active wallets. Oh, wow. Well, this is a little bit messed up. This should be actually second in active wallets. But if you look at Solana Art right now, volume was 2,000. Solport actually beat Solana Art in volume in the last 24 hours. Let's just do this in active wallets. There we go. OpenSeas, they're actually watching that, which is interesting. In the last 24 hours, OpenSeas is actually second. And that's why I'm also a little bit saying, like, you know, Solana Art has a lot of catching up to do. But there's some things that they do, I think, better than Magic Eden, you know, and that's why I think it's still has a good place and it still continue to grow, and they're definitely feeling the heat. So you could see how these work. And then there's all these other Solana Art marketplaces below that aren't doing so well, obviously, okay? You could just see sheerly Magic Eden is just slaughtering everybody. I think OpenSeas is still beta, but we'll continue to see that roll out, and it'll just get better. Creators, they can apply for listings here, apply for auctions, community links, help desk, API, really operating really well as a SaaS company. The one thing that I don't like right now, and I'm so surprised that they just haven't done it yet. Let's just grab a project real quick and look at one. Let me just go to collections here. And let's go to DGods, because these guys are crushing it. I was actually on the whitelist for this, and I just blew it off because they kind of pooped the bed when they first launched, but it didn't matter. They came back. Look at this floor. This floor is actually doubled in the last couple of days, which is crazy. They were 99 Solana a couple of days ago, and they've just doubled, which could be a big reason for OpenSea, I think. But look at here on activity. All right, so my biggest complaint was this, and they actually just added it. This was not here yesterday. See how they have a graph? Look at this, was 55 a day ago. So that would have been a huge flip for anybody who got into DGods, even if they would have gotten in early. The third was 49. Back here in March, you could have got them for like 30, 32, 40. So they did really good based off this. Let me just go back even further. Yeah, they were like nothing. They were less than $1. Look at how they went up. So you could have gotten this project in January for nothing. And when they first came out, they were just nothing, right? So I think right about here is maybe when they launched. When they first launched, they just were stale. They didn't do much, even for a while. Anybody could have got into these during this time, all the way up until $50 around March 22nd. They were, I'm sorry, this might have been Solana each. So 4 Solana. Yeah, so if you could have got in at 4.5 Solana and selling right now at 150, that would have been great. Some people are selling them for 185. But this was my biggest complaint. I'm very happy that they added it, and it actually looks really nice compared to like having nothing here, or even compared to what Solana Art has. That was my biggest complaint, and they fixed it. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, so before I get into Solana Art, I also want to show you how you can sell stuff and kind of how this all works here, okay? If I go to, yeah, so you can connect to different wallets if you want. You can disconnect here. You'd have to open back up in Solana, change the wallet, and then reconnect that way. But when you just go to sell, it's going to take you into here. It'll show you your items that you could sell. It's saying like the most I could probably make on the floor anyway is 1.2. And these are just a bunch of projects that honestly I just bought for the heck of it. No reason, no rhyme or reason. They're just either free mints or they're low, taking just a risk. I've done really well on these kind of weird like pixelated ones where I'm able to get them low and flip them a little bit higher. But that's where that would go. Your listed items would go here. And so I have a couple of listed items here as well. These ones just didn't take off as great as I thought that they were, and it really came down to community. But you can see the total floor value of these is not very good. The floor value of these is a little bit better. And so that's what that looks like. If I have any offers made, offers received, actions, you can see right here were activities. So these were some things that I've sold as well as listed. You can kind of see what, how some of these worked out, if I sold them or bought them or whatnot. But it shows you all the activities I've had at that point. If I've added anything to my watch list, which again, I have nothing on my watch list. I've never really signed in, but I could sign in. I could add an image here or PFP of some sort. And that's really kind of how this whole site works. There's nothing else crazy to it. It is a little bit clunky in the way that it works as looks like a piece of software versus like a marketplace, but still phenomenal marketplace. Let's go ahead and get into Solana art now. So Solana art, I think, is just cleaner looking. I think they probably spent more money than Magic Eden did on user experience. Here's the difference between the two as well is what they charge. So the fees are very simple. There's no listing fee, so it's completely free. What is Magic Eden fees? They take 2% on all transactions. Magic fees honor the royalties set by the creators embedded into their metadata. When a sale happens, how long does it take to get SOL into my wallet? It's transferred pretty fast. How much are royalties? When do I get paid? Royalties amounts are set so by the creators, right? So really, this is the main thing. They charge 2%. So we know that that's what they charge. Okay, so Solana art, they charge 3% marketplace fees as taking on the selling price of every transaction, a creator's fee which is chosen by the creator and therefore varies depending on the collection. So that's just, if they have creator fees added or what you call royalties. But they charge 3%. So they're a little bit higher than Magic Eden, which that was something else I didn't mention, but that's another reason I think Magic Eden's done so well is that they save people about 1% on each transaction. So more people want to go there as well for that. But let's go back into Solana art itself. You could see that they are just a nicer looking site. They just added Launchpad. I'm just going to click on that real quick while we're here. So you can see that there's a few projects that have come up and sold out during that. Being that this is new, it might be a good place to use versus Magic Eden if you have a project and you could be one of the first. I think that's going to be a big deal, but just because they have a lot of traffic there, that's going to be maybe a higher percentage of people might hit Solana at that point. Let me go back. Okay, and so they've also added this global offers per attribute. So this is kind of interesting as well. It's just, I'll talk about that in a minute when we look at some of the projects. We've got just their project that they're featuring right here. These are the big projects that are on here. Here's another project, by the way, that just kind of crushed it. It was definitely a lot cheaper at one point. You can go to favorites and see if you have a favorite list set up. You can go through here and kind of look at these just nicely, kind of scrolls over them. Here's their all-time best collections. You can see by volume. We can expand those collections. And then we can see what's trending right now. These are the ones that are really trending right now, just kind of crushing it. Recently listed. So these are all new projects that just recently were listed. I'm seeing Solana art starting to list a lot more projects. I think they've realized that they might have been too picky and that might have hurt them a little bit. Again, just the site's real easy to use. It looks nice. Let's go ahead and hit the collections tab. When you go through the collections tab, you can just see based off volume as well. So they're going to go high to low. And you can kind of scroll through these and look at different collections if you want. You can also go to stats. So stats is another interesting place. Okay, so here is the stats. It looks like it's looking at it based off the 7-day volume. Usually you could click these, but for some odd reason I'm not able to at the moment. They're probably making some changes in the background. But the cool thing about this is, if I scroll through here, you can see the different projects and you can see how well that they're doing or how big they are. It's just a good way to look, if you want to see based off of 7-day volume or the last 24 hours, and if you're looking based off floor price. This is based off Solana. You can hit C, which I'm not going to hit because it seems like they're having some issues, or I could click right here and it'll give me a US dollar amount. But let's go ahead and look at one of these projects in particular, okay? I'm just going to grab one. I'll look at the Degenerative Ape Academy, which has just been like an OG project. But this is what it looks like from here. You can see on the right-hand side, this is where you can look at their Twitter account. You go to their website, you can go to their Discord. You can look at activity, and you can look at global offers, which is pretty cool. So let's just look at activity real quick. So here's activity. This is basically what's been selling the last, however long you want to go. You can also look at global offers. This is interesting as well. These are offers that people are just sticking out there for right now, either for a particular piece or global, meaning that anybody that wants to sell one at this price, someone could go ahead and take it if they were selling it, okay? On the left-hand side, you can see all their attributes. This has just been a massive change from the older training that I showed before. But this basically is their attributes. So generation, like Genesis 1, which it looks like they only have one, teeth, mouth, head, fur, skin, eyewear, collection, clothing, background, amount of attributes. You can filter by price as well. You can add a global offer if you wanted to. Again, I can come back to here and just look at this from this angle. I can change the view. I can also look at how I want to look at them from low to high. One thing I like about both Solana Art and Magic Eden versus OpenSea is that every time you want to look at the floor, you have to literally click the floor price for it to show, where they just automatically show you the floor price. And that's kind of how that works. Also, I'm not seeing it. They should have an area besides activity where they show you the graph, and they might have taken that down, but they do have it. And that was another thing that I was going to say, was that I like better than Magic Eden. However, Magic Eden now has it, right? But for some odd reason today, they seem to be having an issue, but they usually have it where you can see what their historical data is, what they were selling for. Okay, so kind of like what I showed you here with DGods. And look, since we've looked at this, the price has already gone up another 3 SOL. So that one is just really pumping right now. But let's just go back over here to Solana and kind of finish this out. They do usually have it, but for some odd reason, they've taken it down at the moment. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's probably just some sort of upgrade that we'll see in the future with it. Also, if you want to connect your wallet when you want to go sell your projects, let me just go ahead and log in here real quick. So it'll show you how much balance you have currently in your wallet, but you can click on here and you can go to profile or dashboard. Let's look at both of these. This is the dashboard. Basically, they're explaining how their global offers work. So you can make a global offer on the whole project. You can also look at your current NFTs. It's loading still. Anyway, if you could look here, you'll see that this will usually show you what you have listed. There you go. There it comes up. So it's just kind of showing my total value in NFTs that I have. I think this might be off, just listed. Maybe I'm holding with one and I've got 7 listed at this value, 5.53 Solana. It shows you like ratio of purchase and sales, global offers, if I have any offers received, if I have any, the amount traded. I've traded 38 total. I can click on here and look at my activity. This just takes me down to here, but this will just show you some of the activity that I've had in the past with just different, projects that I've sold. This one for 4.5, this one for 4. So I've done pretty good with some, 6.8. Others I've probably lost on, like these ones I don't think I did too well on when I sold them. These ones I think I kind of broke even on. So this one here I kind of lost money on. These ones I'm broken even on. But it just kind of depends on how you do. But then if you go to like my NFTs, you can see what I'm currently holding on to. This one I think was a rug. So they don't really have this anymore. They're saying the floor is 0.10, so maybe not. What I have listed currently, so I've got some listed, just they haven't sold. I think the prices of these have gone down. But that's where you're going to see these. You'll see my bid, my global offers. I did buy a few of these because I do believe in this project too. I just want to point that out there. I think they're going to have a comeback, but I figured I'd put some a little bit higher than what I paid for them on the market anyway, so people can see it. Look, I got people who made offers, just because that's a whole nother strategy in itself. You could just do a bunch of offers and someone might just send it to you, even accidents, right? So here's where your favorites are going to be. And that's really sort of how that back end works. I can go to profile. If you have a profile, you can change it by hitting edit and maybe name it. I could see this continuing to be, more and more as something as they continue to grow. But you could share profiles with people and they could kind of see like what's in your wallet kind of thing as well. Just some interesting things that you can do with this. Anyway, that's how all that works. That is really Solana Art and Magic Eden combined. I'm not going to really get into, just for time period, I'm not really going to get into OpenSeas. OpenSeas is currently in beta. I think OpenSeas is a big deal. However, it's obvious that Magic Eden is the winner at this point. They are the #1 Solana-based marketplace for NFTs. And I think that they're going to continue to grow. They're probably going to continue to get a little bit nicer of a UI. I think Solana Art has a very much nicer UI and typically runs very smooth. I think all this depends on how well Solana is doing at the moment. I think Solana has some issues to work out as far as network speed goes and congestion. They just need to add more nodes, which will be an opportunity for them to add more nodes for people who want to purchase and own nodes around the world. So as that ecosystem grows, there's a lot that needs to be filled, but it's a great test for them right now, be a major contender to ETH. And obviously with Ethereum gas prices, we lose so much money on NFTs on Ethereum. It's not even funny, where Solana Art and Magic Eden is just a great place to go and buy and sell and trade and snipe and swipe NFTs from at a fairly low price. OpenSeas is pretty expensive. Now there are some others that are coming around, or FTX, I believe. They have a very low cost one, but they're just not really contending in there. They do like free gas. They allow you to list for free. They're doing things that are great. They've got a lot of money to spend in marketing. So they could actually come up and be a big major contender. We also have Coinbase, who is going to be huge for the NFT space, hinting and saying, and they've got their own Twitter account that says that they've got their own NFT. They've already talked to major NFT projects that have done, tens of millions of dollars in sales to hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, who've partnered with them. And they're also saying that they're going to be bringing Solana as well when they open up. So that's going to be interesting. So a lot of things going on here, right? So, I mean, even the hint or the raspberry that Magic Eden was talking about, Ethereum maxis and Solana maxis can get together. That's kind of a little hint that maybe they're going to actually get into the Ethereum-based projects as well. So it's kind of interesting with what's going on. But like I said, it's clear to me that Magic Eden is the winner at this point. They're just doing it better than anybody else. These things can change pretty fast, especially when competition starts to expand in each other's areas. I'm going to leave you with that. If you like this content, you think it's great, and you want me to keep providing it for you guys, I love making it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I like making it. By showing me your gratitude, make sure you follow, hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever I go live or whenever I post one of these videos. Also, like it, comment below. Tell me what you think of this one. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm right. People love to tell me when they think I'm wrong. Do that. I mean, it's fun, right? Just have fun with it and share it with some other people. So with that, I'm going to leave you on that, and you guys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.